Hello, you beautiful people. My name is Davi. I'm joined by Abe and Charlie. Welcome back to another Tony Tuesday.
How you doing?
For our viewers and listeners, we hope you guys are doing well. Just a quick heads up, this episode is also available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, specifically the discussion portion of the show. And also, if you're new here, please consider subscribing, liking this video.
Make sure to hit the notification bell as well so you get notified when we have a new upload posted. And also, if you didn't know, we have a Patreon. You can check it out in the description below. It's $5 a month, and you can watch this uncut. And as a matter of fact, those of you on Patreon, you have already seen this episode because you get it early as well.
Indeed.
So thank you to all of you who have been supporting us. All you need is to have your own copy of the episode, and you can follow along with us because we'll give you a countdown. And it's like we're all in there together having a little watch party.
Yes, sir.
It's fun.
Abe and Charlie, how you guys doing?
We're good. I'm glad it's Friday. It's
been a long
about to
week.
be the weekend.
Indeed.
When we're shooting this, it is currently Friday night. We might get to see the Northern Lights here in our area.
Yes.
That's on the news.
Yep.
Which I've never seen. So
That's crazy. It's actually weird because I've had that as a weird bucket list item. Like, I'll be real. I have really no desire to go to like Alaska or whatever because nothing interests me in Alaska other than that.
What about like Iceland?
Yeah, Iceland would
There's
be
other
cool.
places we
Iceland would be cool.
Yeah.
But now I just don't have to travel for it if I can see it here. To be determined. But the news is telling us that we can see it where we are located. We're just going to have to stay up hella late
What time?
or wake up super early. It's like right before dawn, like before sunup.
Oh.
Yeah.
But before we get into this episode, Abe, can you please read the comments from our previous episode?
I can indeed. First comment comes from BLP. It says, a lot of money in this shit. Indeed. There is a lot of money in this shit.
Fiber optic cable.
Yep. Harmless Anime Poster says, Sopranos Season 4 is one of my favorite seasons of TV ever. Let's be clear. It was divisive at that time. It was deliberately filmed and structured very different from previous seasons. They chose to go with a super slow burning and slow paced character study, and the majority of fans hated it when it aired back in the day. But it just looks better and better as time goes on. And I know, I wasn't looking, but I know Davi's head was nodding because that man loves a slow burn and a character. I love a character study, so...
Yeah.
This is my type of television. I'm all about that. And this one is from Almondroka. Another low-key, semi-slept-on Dynamite episode. So many great scenes, especially the Meadow-Tony showdown. So many pieces put in motion, which will ripple out into future episodes, etc.
Yeah.
Love that.
Meadow was that was one of her best performances.
Yeah.
So far in the show,
Oh,
that
yeah.
scene
100%.
What's her name?
cries out.
Jamie Lynn Springer? Is that her name?
I don't know.
I always
That
forget.
sounds way
actually
too
don't
close
know.
to Jamie Lynn Spears.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to remember what her.
I don't know what her name is, but
That's it. Then that's
she's fantastic. She did a great job.
Oh, Jamie Lynn Sigler.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
All right, you had it pretty
Yeah.
close.
Mhm.
You're pretty close.
How old is she now? I'm curious. 42.
Wow. She does not look 42.
42. That's
How
crazy.
old is
It just
AJ
puts in
actor?
perspective, like how long ago.
Gotta be in his
He is.
30s.
Robert Iller, 39.
Yeah. Wow, late 30s. Wow, so they were very close in age.
Yeah, I
Closer
thought
than
I thought the
I
age
thought.
Close,
gap,
yeah. The age gap.
It's like 3 years.
the age gap in the show feels larger,
Yeah, it's probably because AJ is what, sophomore in high school?
something like that.
Yeah,
Because he was on a
She's-
freshman football
yeah.
team. Yeah, so he's sophomore and she's a.
A sophomore.
Sophomore in college.
No, they got it pretty right.
They got it pretty close.
Yeah.
Especially in TV when you have like TV nowadays, you have like 30-year-olds playing high schoolers. They did a pretty good job.
Yeah, Riverdale, for example. Did you make that?
Crazy. No, you did not.
I did?
No, you did not.
Oh.
It's on the other side of the trash bin.
I don't believe you. I think that was Kobe.
Don't disrespect Kobe like that.
Oh.
Man thinks he's a basketball player, bro. He's watching the Celtics so intensely that he feels like he's part of the team.
Hey,
just missed the shot.
Whoa.
Keep going.
Let's go. Let's
Is
start
this
the
a
damn
roast?
episode.
Is this a roast?
I don't know.
I did watch
I was
the
just
roast
listening.
of Tom Brady, and it's fire.
I think that's
went
what's
all
happening
out.
because the Kendrick beef and then the roast of Tom Brady. You
It's
know?
a lot of tension in the air.
Yeah, a lot of it.
If I punch Charlie in this episode, it's his fault.
All right, Christopher, episode 3.
Man just got nervous.
Nervous for what?
Oh,
All right.
See, we're actually gonna fight.
Christopher, episode 3 of season 4.
In 3, 2, 1, go. James Gandolfini, how old was he when he passed?
He was young. Passed away like in his 50s, I think.
51.
Yep.
Dude, he died in Rome.
Wow, no way.
That's what it says.
If Twitter was around back then, bro, that would have
Cause
been
of
like
death, heart attack.
That's crazy.
That was in 2013. So Twitter was around, I think, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's Inception.
Yeah. Man, 6 feet tall.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Bro, look at look at Christopher as actor, bro, now.
Oh my god, he looks exactly the same. Just didn't
With
age
the
well.
gray hairs.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. This says he's 58?
Yeah,
Nah,
he's
stop
not
it.
aging well. That's what I'm saying.
No way.
But still, he looks.
He looks older than 58.
Yeah, definitely.
Woke up this morning, got yourself a gun.
Paulie's actor,
Frank.
Tony Sirico, passed away in 2022.
Oh, what a shot. Ooh.
79 years old.
You guys missed that opening shot.
We're back in this spot though, like outside this little market.
Council members and supporters will lie down in the path of Columbus Day marches, quote, in protest of Columbus's role in the genocide of America's native peoples, unquote.
Some fucking balls bad-mouthing America, especially now.
I thought Columbus was the hero of America.
Oh, see, it's these Indians and the commie.
Americans are so dumb, bro. I'm so sorry.
You gotta admit, they did get massacred, the Indians.
It's not like we didn't give him a bunch of shit to make up for that.
It's crazy that this was discourse even at that time. Because
Oh,
I
yeah.
feel like it still feels like it's brand new now, like recent.
I'll tell you what it is. Anti-Italian discrimination.
Yeah, because he was
Italian.
Italian or Spanish.
I'm gonna take action here.
This is the Christopher Columbus Defenders Club.
Nah, Fudio though.
True. He's a hater, number one hater.
Also makes sense why the episode is called Christopher.
Peter and Paul's, they have a series of ladies' luncheons every week. The food is good.
Oh, remember Adriana? That
Yeah.
whole
I was
situation.
gonna say, like, she's real quiet.
I think you should lose the ponytail.
You do?
I think it looks great on him.
That's his trademark.
Sandy Fortunato says it looks like a dick coming out of his head.
I'm so curious if she's like wired right now, but I don't know how they would do it.
That's
What the f? What the f?
Mama's little hooah.
Hooah? Mama's little hooah.
I gotta get that.
What a ringtone.
The ringing in the back is still
I can't hear you too good. It must be your cell phone. You in the car?
Bro,
still vibrating, bro.
This
That's
is-
crazy.
She
I
used
can't decide if this is worse than the Richie one with the gun. I think it is, but
You know, both crazy. Both definitely crazy.
God, we're so naughty. How can we do this with Ro on the phone? We're so wacky. No regard for nothing, huh?
What the hell?
Janice is cuckoo, man.
Thanks for the stamps. How you getting on?
I feel old.
I just want to say, I hope your feelings weren't hurt too bad and that it never got back to the missus.
Fuck you talking about?
Oh boy, he's stirring shit.
Never mind. Let it die at that.
What joke?
Oh my God.
You're better off not hearing it. Trust me.
Dad, I demand you tell me, Paulie.
It's the joke that Ralphie made.
So we ain't getting what we expected to begin.
Minimally expected.
Have Mazarone hire more laborers off the books.
Nobody's talking to you.
Yeah. See?
All right, Jesus.
I'm just thinking about the fact that they found out Uncle Junior goes down south. They found out about Ralphie, bro.
Oh no, you're right.
Let's look at your current allocation. At Schwab, we give advice to...
Uh-oh.
This is already like coffee and what is it, cake?
I got pictures of my new house.
Oh, let me see.
Oh,
Get him
man.
developed.
Yeah, remember back in the day when you want to show pictures, you got to actually pull out the envelope with the instead of pulling out your phone.
All I know is Italian Americans are extremely proud of Christopher Columbus.
I'm so curious where this is going. I was so under the impression that it was going to be about Christopher, but
Oh yeah,
it
that's
has
so
a
true.
double meaning, Christopher Columbus.
Montel, the Italian people in this country also suffered discrimination.
To Phil. We're talking 300 years of slavery here.
The man's look, bro. He's like trying to find the cover.
First Soprano family trial in 16 years.
Be seated.
Are we gonna get a little courtroom drama here?
United States of America versus Corrado, John Soprano, et al.
Any applications before I bring in the jury?
No, Your Honor.
Bring the jury.
Telephone charges on your last bill cost me $40 every time you pick up the phone.
This man's worried about his phone bill, bro.
$2,380 last month alone.
Damn,
That's crazy.
that's a lot of money for telephone bill.
Look how we've both preserved the tradition of our ancestors and managed to become new Italian American women.
These are the speeches they give at bingo night. Literally have a bingo board up there.
If they say John Gotti, you tell them Rudolph Giuliani.
Oh my God, bro. Rudolph Giuliani,
Hey, Rudy, Giuliani.
not the flex today.
Was he the mayor at the time or whatever?
Yeah, think
New
so.
York? Yeah.
Again, it is our job to make sure people...
Oh my God.
Yeah, because they said organized crime and shit. That lady looked back at them.
Why is the priest the only guy there?
I think it has to do with the church. That's probably why.
I see.
Don't miss
Professor Murphy's new book, Strega, The Sorceress as Imago Figure in Italian Literature. And stick around for coffee and dessert, courtesy of Capuzzo's Pastry Shop.
Interesting how her last name is Murphy. I feel like most of them like scoff at somebody who's not
Right.
a full-blooded Italian.
Father in Tintola's forgetting who his friends are.
It was outrageous, Carm. I'm shocked.
What are you gonna do? Everyone's entitled to their opinion.
She's probably married to a non-Italian, but still.
After all you've done for this parish,
What are you gonna do?
well, I'm going to cut him a new one.
I didn't fully understand the beef there.
Father, I don't know what to say. I'm so upset.
Why? What's wrong?
What's wrong? Carmela is one of your biggest supporters and friends. How dare you let her suffer humiliation and embarrassment at the hands of an outsider? Unfortunately, because of her husband's high profile in the waste industry, Carmela's the one who bears the brunt of these insults. But there were many of us who were equally offended.
High profile in the waste industry. It's crazy.
You did hear me bring up that new study.
Well, if that's your idea of a good luncheon speaker, I suggest you think about who really keeps this parish alive year after year.
Man was just trying to eat his cannoli.
Your cities pain the eyes of the red man. A man in your cities is numb to the stench.
Mussolini was Hitler's bitch!
For the last red man shall have perished.
They're here to break this up.
Hey, here, Cubs, and get out of here. You son of a bitch from a bat.
The white man will never be alone. This is Newark, baby. We don't play that shit. That better not be Columbus.
It is.
The f*** is this, Joey? They get a permit, Silk. Everybody, come on, let's go. Come on, you two.
All right, we gotta go. We gotta go.
Yeah, this is the last thing they need too. Oh my god. What
He has a
mess.
gun in the car, doesn't he? No, he's just hiding out. I was just thinking about the rifle he pulled on Tony that one time.
Who got smashed with the bottle?
Artie, wait, in
And the guy
No,
with,
with
the,
the bottle.
wings. Yeah.
With the glass bottle.
There's Patsy.
Tony's gonna be pissed, bro. This is the last thing they need with the FBI like back on them again.
You know, I gotta go. I'm getting my new crown today. All right. Bye-bye.
Bring Bobby and the kids over for a cookout on Saturday.
Interesting how she's opening the door for her.
What's up, Bobby?
Mom tried to call you. Wants you to pick up some steaks and eggplants before you come home.
She can't do it? I'm stuck in traffic. Now I gotta go to the store.
She had to go get some crowns or something.
Your mother's a real pain in the you-know-what sometimes. When she gets home, tell her I said thanks a lot.
What the heck is going on there?
A car accident.
Hello? Hey, Gab.
What?
Oh, my God. Oh, God, that's terrible. Oh, yeah. Okay. What happened?
Ralphie or
no?
Karen had an accident on Pompton Avenue.
Oh,
She's dead.
Whoa.
which one's Karen?
Was she not the blonde one?
The one that they just talked to? I don't know.
Oh, that's Bobby's wife?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
It is. Bobby's literally about to drive right by it.
The f*** were you? I count on you to be the most level-headed guy I got.
My father was a Knight of Columbus, Italian-American, and I pay money to the Italian Anti-Defamation Coordination Council, and basta. We're the victims here.
You were still out of line.
You're right, 100%.
But
As your consigliere, I think the guys, and myself too, we need your leadership on this.
all right, good. I understand you want to do something, but use your brain.
Believe me and Ralphie are working on a few things.
You know, it's the councilman.
Good morning, Assemblyman.
Assemblyman.
What's up? You know this protest with the Indians on Columbus Day?
Yeah, I heard about it.
Well, we need somebody to make it go away.
Oh, boy, that's a tough one. Nobody wants to touch it.
Why, we just want a peaceful parade like we've had for years with no interference. What's wrong with that?
It's the First Amendment, and it's Native Americans. Very sensitive stuff. My hands are tied on this one. Sorry.
Yeah, fine.
I will be attending the parade, as always. You got my support there. Wish that I could...
There's got to be consequences to saying no to Tony, though, right?
Disappeared into the witness protection program.
Was talking to a therapist?
And my mother and my father, where I had no love and no support, and where I was shamed and ridiculed for being artistic.
You have replaced your father with your brother as a figure of authority that you need to prove something to. You set up these scenarios with these men similar to your father and your brother, seeking your brother, i.e., your father's acceptance.
I thought she had a good relationship with her father. She was like spoiling her and everything.
No, I don't know.
That's what we saw.
I mean, good.
Yeah.
I'm Henry Caruso. I'm pleased to meet you.
Henry Caruso.
Maggie Donner, I'm Dell's TA.
Yes, I can see that.
This brother.
Oh my
Starving.
I represent a group of concerned citizens who are very upset about this protest you're spearheading, no puns intended.
Who do you represent?
Italians here in New Jersey, good people, family people.
Family people.
Really not in your best interest to go through with this fucking thing.
Well, if you come here to intimidate me, you don't know much about Indian Resolve.
Dale, should I call security?
You remember this guy?
Arnaz Cody, he was an actor in the movies.
You're a fucking poster boy. Part Cherokee, part Cree. Wasn't even a fucking Indian. Second generation Sicilian from Louisiana named Espira Dakota.
Well, I think you better leave now.
Guy's a total fucking phony. Total fugazi. Even Jay Silverheels knew it.
Oh, my God.
He kept it quiet. We're not gonna. You keep up your bullshit. We're gonna go wide with this thing.
Knock yourself out.
Jesus Christ, is this true? This is a fucking disaster.
For a second, I was gonna say, like, is that tactic really strong enough? The one Ralphie was using.
Sounds like it after.
I didn't think they were gonna give a shit about it, but I guess it's a big deal.
It was good to not let them know they give a shit.
Yeah.
With 50 men, we could subjugate them.
Subjugate. Yeah, the letters are crazy. If you guys ever read the Christopher Columbus letters, it's crazy.
I don't recall ever.
They don't teach it in high school. I learned it in college.
Columbus was alive today, he would go on trial for crimes against humanity like
Yes.
Milosevic. And
Mm-hmm.
He would.
Indeed.
It's not just my teacher, it's the truth.
Wow, they're actually learning that in high school, though.
So you finally read a book and it's bullshit.
Tony,
Like it took guts to murder people and put them in chains.
he was a victim of his time.
Who cares? It's what he did.
He discovered America is what he did. He was a brave Italian explorer.
Not quite.
And in this house, Christopher Columbus is a hero. End of story.
Absolutely. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it was just made capo, too.
Way too many funerals in
Oh, yeah.
the Soprano family and whatnot, and those involved.
I should have known. I should have known you needed me. I should have been in your place. My love. My sweet love.
We haven't seen Christopher once in this episode.
We saw him in the beginning.
See, it's all weighing on her mind.
Always doing.
It's always business.
Yeah.
Sil was on the phone. He was talking with somebody about how Bobby was the only one of them who doesn't have a Kamada. They were laughing at him.
Crazy, right? The loyal one loses his wife.
There he is. John, look, I'm sorry I missed the legless nursing school graduation. Unforgivable. But I made it up to her.
Stick it in your ass.
Oh, God.
What the John?
Keep him away from me.
What's this?
I have no fucking idea, but I got better shit to do.
Yeah, like what you were doing in the beginning of the episode.
Oh, my God.
With Jen.
That's some shit, all right.
Plus, I don't know where Carmen's up my ass on this Freeland Avenue bullshit. Somebody's talking too much.
Mm-hmm.
It's all Paulie.
Yeah.
From prison.
I'm surrounded by death. My husband, my son, my friend.
I don't know what to tell you, Ro.
And look at me. My youth, my looks, they're gone.
No, that's from not taking care of yourself.
Oh, my God.
It's not stuff. It's death. It's pain.
I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can help you. I need a lot right now. I don't think there's anything I can do.
You can be there for me. You can comfort me.
What about me? What do I get out of it?
There it is, right there.
Jesus.
What do you get? How about your every need taken care of? Sexually, everything. All your shit. It's all about you, isn't it?
Let's be realistic.
Let's be realistic. What, you want to leave me?
They got engaged, didn't they?
Yeah.
Married?
Then get the fuck out.
It doesn't have to be like this.
How should it be, huh? How the fuck should it be?
Yo, Rose actually, I like her. She doesn't take shit from nobody.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's why he's leaving. Like, why put in effort in comforting her and then getting satisfaction sexually or whatever when he's getting that out of Janice with zero effort?
Basically, yeah. That's all he wants anyway.
Yeah.
This Columbus Day protest, so we need somebody to make it go away.
What's wrong with freedom of speech?
Yeah? Yeah, my kid's talking about Columbus. He calls him a thief and a murderer.
Well, they wiped out almost all of my people.
Cubans are from Spain.
Strictly speaking, they were Taino Indians who got raped by Columbus and the conquistadors.
That's right, Reuben. I can't say I don't have any sympathy for the red man. Jews, because of their history, have common cause with the oppressed. Some Indians were deliberately given blankets, tainted with smallpox, died like flies.
You want to talk bioterrorism? Look who started it.
Amen to that, my friend.
Crazy.
Christopher Columbus was no better than Adolf Hitler.
Hey, whoa. Back up.
Yeah, that Indian from the protest was whining about the wilderness. Had him on TV, and he called Columbus Hitler.
Because it's true, man.
You're talking out of your ass. Columbus and Hitler. You're trivializing the Holocaust. Frankly, Reuben, if you got that kind of covert anti-Semitism, I'd like you to leave my house.
Anti-Semitism?
That's right.
You too, my man.
Whoa.
Bro, this went to 0 to 100 so what?
Episode's really focusing on cultural clash. It's really interesting.
I'll call Marty up in Connecticut. He knows a big mohawk.
Of course.
cocksucker.
Yo, you think they planted that guy to say that shit?
For what reason?
Because at first he didn't want to do anything, but then once that dude compared Columbus to Hitler, now he wants to make Columbus like pristine.
I see.
Like doesn't want to like associate him with anything bad because he's nowhere near as bad as Hitler is what he's trying to say.
Do you feel as though this scenario, because this is post 9/11, right? Is this in a way serving as like a, I don't know if allegory is the right word, but allegory to what happened then and not generalizing
stereotypes
with Muslims and whatnot?
Potentially.
It's like a commentary on that.
Maybe.
Jesus.
Tough.
What are you doing?
We don't have to hide, baby. I did it. I told Ro.
Told her about us?
And this is after she got the advice from the therapist and everything.
And I left.
Yikes.
Now I can devote myself to you completely.
Oh my God, bro. Why did you have these crazy men down bad, bro?
Just sex.
Yeah. You need me, slut.
She jumps right into it.
Oh, shit, tonight's my night. I gotta bring food over to Bobby Bacala's.
You're on CD Patrol, too?
ZD Patrol.
She's a horn dog, too, bro. She's just as bad as him.
Chief.
I was like, who is this guy? He looks mad familiar.
Chief Doug Smith, tribal chairman of the Mohunk Indians and CEO of Mohunk Enterprises.
What they say his name was?
Chief of the
Mohunk.
Yeah.
I've got a $250 million casino and a huge Italian-American customer base. This is a brand new facility, state-of-the-art.
They're gonna lay down in front of the parade.
That's not gonna happen. People like Red Clay, they're out of touch. They're in their ivory towers. They don't understand the economic opportunity that funds much of the Native American community.
We don't want to see our heritage attacked, that's all.
You recognize him from anything or no?
He apparently is from General Hospital. I've never watched General
Okay,
Hospital.
that may be where I seen his face.
Well, no offense, Chief, but you don't look much like an Indian.
Frankly, I passed most of my life as white until I had a racial awakening and discovered my Mohonk blood. My grandmother on my father's side, her mother was a quarter Mohonk.
Oh, damn. This is just... Never mind.
What?
I was going to make a joke.
You're going to make an Elizabeth Warren joke?
0.02% Native American.
Bobby, we've been neighbors. I know that we don't talk much, but if you want to, I'm here for you.
No, you ain't.
Nah, I don't like the way that they're looking at each other.
Also, I thought she was lying about it being her turn to help Bobby bring food for him.
No, I don't think so. Somebody else would have been there.
When she had the accident, I was stuck in traffic.
And he feels guilty for what he said.
And I was mad at her for sending me. I was tired. I was mad at her. But I was stuck in traffic because of her accident. She was up the road ahead of me, lying in twisted metal. But I didn't know. And I could have been with her. I should have been there to help her. But I was mad at her. Oh, my sweet Karen. My sweet girl.
I could tell she actually feels sorry for him.
Yeah, especially all the other men she's ever dealt with are all garbage and cheaters.
Tony, I wish I had better news. I struck out. Red Clay didn't go for it.
You ask him about ionized Cody?
He didn't give a shit. It was some internet rumor. And most Native Americans, they don't give a flying f***. It's like knowing James Caan isn't Italian.
It's nice meeting you, and I appreciate the effort.
You gotta let me make it up to you. Come on up, spend a day, Sill, whoever you want. High rollers room, everything comped.
What do you say about ionized Cody? Said Ralphie had it all f***ed up. That don't mean nothing anyway, because it's like knowing James Caan isn't Italian.
This is going to be a shock for him, isn't it?
We think this guy Red Clay's fucking a graduate student. We hire a detective. I think it's over, Sil. Yeah, but what are you gonna do? It's over.
You don't like that?
I felt unworthy to even be in his presence. I was so moved by him. And then I look at Ralphie.
You saw in this man the things that you want in your life.
I swear to God, if she goes after Bobby, I swear to God. I swear
better
to God.
not.
You know what, though? He could fix her, like, low-key.
What does this man do?
He works with my brother, but he's not like the others.
Janice?
Sandy, he's different, believe me.
Okay.
It is hard to believe.
Yeah, but it's true.
like, it is true. Also, I was going to say, I love how this show evolved from just Tony in therapy to now we getting, like,
get
multiple
others, yeah.
characters.
And they're forgetting all about the parade.
I'm wondering if this is actually going to get comped or not.
Oh, it has to be.
Imagine if it wasn't.
You're going to tell,
yeah.
like, a pretty high-up person in the
Yeah.
Italian mob that it's not comped after you said it is?
Maybe it's an FU for the whole situation. Maybe it was bullshit and overanalyzing it, but yeah.
Yeah.
I see you gentlemen are having a good time. You getting enough to eat?
Yeah, running out of my comps here.
Go find Marty. He's on the floor somewhere. Tony, can we talk a minute? Buy you a drink?
Yeah, sure.
Violence broke out briefly between Native American demonstrators and members of a coalition of 18 various Italian American pride organizations.
Get out of here! This is our day! You hear that?
So this was early 2000s. I'm wondering if
Actually
these types of
happening.
protests actually occurred.
Maybe.
I was a child, so I would not know.
I was a literal baby.
Yeah. That's what I was saying early on. Is like, it feels like this discourse just recently started, but clearly not.
No, bro. This discourse has literally been happening for hundreds
No,
of years.
but I mean, I understand that. But I'm saying, like, in terms of, like, people...
It's still relevant today, so you
Yes.
hear it quite as much as you would hear it back then.
Dennis, this is the last of the stuff I had at Rose. Finito.
Oh, no.
She's going to kick him out.
Didn't I ask you to take your shoes off when you came in this house?
Forgot. Sorry, hon.
You forgot. So that's just it. You fucking forgot!
Yo. Oh my God.
Get out! Get out!
Back. I'll kill you, crazy bitch. I'll kill you, bitch. You crazy cunt!
Get out!
Jesus Christ.
Oh, boy. Part 2, bro? Are we really doing this again?
What?
There's no way we're doing this
Bro,
again.
Janice, you got to stop killing your lovers.
Your mob-affiliated lovers
Yeah.
that are crazy. Was there nothing in that bag?
Nothing in the bag.
I didn't see. You didn't see? No, I didn't.
I thought the bag was wide open and nothing
The
was falling
last
out.
of my stuff. Damn, bro, over not taking off your shoes, she just stirred up some shit.
No, there's deeper there.
No, of course, but
I should have been there.
you can tell this really bothers Sil.
Who the are you kidding? All you thought about was blackjack. You think this day in the country was free, don't you? Well, I wasn't. Chief Smith wants Frankie Valli to come up there and play a week. That's what this whole junket was about. Bad blood with Frankie's manager, so the chief wants me to call him directly as payback for him reaching out to Red Clay. Well, you're gonna make the call.
I ain't seen Frankie for years.
Tough shit! You're making a call! Do this parade already!
So there was an ulterior motive.
They discriminate against all Italians as a group when they disallow Columbus.
Oh, will you stop? Gary Cooper. Now, there was an American, a strong, silent type. He did what he had to do. He faced down the Miller gang when none of those other assholes in town would lift a finger to help him. And did he complain? Did he say, oh, I come from this poor Texas, Irish, illiterate background or whatever the fuck, so leave me the fuck out of it because my people got fucked over?
T, not for nothing, but you're getting a little confused here. A, that was the movies.
Now, what the difference does that make? Columbus was so long ago, he might as well have been a fucking movie. If he was a Medigan around nowadays, he'd be a member of some victims group. The fundamentalist Christians, the abused cowboys, the gays, whatever the fuck.
He was gay, Gary Cooper?
No!
People suffered.
Did you? Except for maybe the feds?
My grandparents got spit on because they were from Calabria.
All the good things you got in your life, did they come to you because you're Calabrese? I'll tell you the answer. The answer is no. You own one of the most profitable topless bars in North Jersey. Now, did you get all this shit because you're Italian? No. You got it because because you're smart. What the fuck is our self-esteem? That shit doesn't come from Columbus or the Godfather or Chef fucking Boyardee.
Chef Boyardee, crazy.
We got tiptoe around the Indians, though, don't we? We can't call our teams the Braves or the Tomahawks.
Oh, you take it up with Frankie Valli when you talk to him.
Huh.
Whoa.
Crazy.
Interesting ending.
Yeah. It was very abrupt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I dig it.
Coming into this episode, we all thought it was going to be an episode centered around
Christopher
Moltisanti because of where we left off in episode 2 with Adriana now getting interviewed by the feds and revealed that her friend was a fan. And we're like, all right, bet Christopher episode. We're gonna get new information, but no, this had to do with Christopher Columbus and a commentary on culture and on stereotypes, culture wars,
yeah,
and whoa.
Yeah.
Very big deviation, I think, from what we're used to.
Yeah, it was out of left field. Like, it caught me by surprise, the whole theme of the episode, because obviously we went in thinking it was going to be about Christopher, but it was about a different Christopher. And I mean, we've seen sort of like the race war stereotype stuff like hinted here and there, but here they dove real deep into it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like something that really bothered a lot of the gang members, especially Silvio. So
yeah.
It's very different episode compared to everything else, because we kind of like abandoned the plot of the whole FBI investigation, whatever the heck was going on over there, and we kind of just focused more on this race war between the Italians and the Native Americans, and then Janice and Ralphie's relationship, and obviously Bobby losing his wife Karen. So interesting, Very interesting.
I think there's definitely like a
Is
common
there-
thread
yeah, is
that
there-
pulls all this together.
For sure. For sure.
Do you have any idea what that thread is?
Yes. So, well, I have an idea.
Mhm.
I don't think this is just thinking out loud. I don't know if any of this is 100% correct, but like the Christopher Columbus narrative and like the race war thing, I think was like a whole examination and like commentary on like the culture of like Italians and Italian Americans in the country and how they see themselves, especially ones in the mob. And then also like, I think a lot of it was to dive into the different cultures, the way the way they present their cultures differently, like how different Italian American men in the mob may act, and also just like Tony's expectation of what he thinks he is and what Silvio thinks that they are, like, is completely different. And I think that there's a big common thread like pulled in some of this. So it was really interesting to examine these characters through this lens, because it kind of showed you some of the priorities, the way that they think. We've talked a lot about like the generational differences between the mob, and I think that Tony is maybe starting to feel a little bit like the older generation, where he's like really upset that people are pissed about this thing, and like people are in their feels, I guess, about it more, and like victimizing themselves. And it's just so interesting to see that disconnect, right? And I thought that was a really smart way to put Tony in the seat of like, this is the lens of the mob that he's looking through. This is the lens of like his Italian culture that he's looking through. And he doesn't necessarily agree with all the outrage and the BS that people are talking about. And he has this like, this additional conflict of like, I have this pride about being Italian, right? That's why I'm defending Columbus to my kid. But I also like, I don't care enough to be constantly like thinking I'm a victim and wanting to like put all this effort into derailing this protest, because we have so much money to make and we have other priorities. So I thought that was like one of the main focuses here, specifically with Tony's character. I'm a very needy dog, and a member of this podcast who cannot control his bowels. So
yeah, Charlie had to step out. But we're gonna continue with the discussion.
Yep.
But Abe, you brought up the perspective on how people within the Italian American culture view themselves.
Yep.
And there was a very specific scene that really hit the mark for me, and was when Carmela and all the girls, all the mob wives were at this bingo event, and the doctor she said something about the mob.
Said something about organized crime.
Yeah, organized crime, and turned around, and then Ro flipped her off.
Yeah.
And
I don't think it was her directly,
Ro?
but
Yeah.
it was. I don't think it was the doctor that said it. That was looking back. It was someone
who
person.
turned around, and she looked at that person, flipped her off.
Yeah.
What is the correlation that that specific scene brings to this episode?
I think it's really interesting because we've seen this discourse in how like Italian Americans and then Italian Americans of the mob and organized crime, like how they're viewed and how they see each other. It's really different. Like we saw this in the episode where Melfi's family was having this entire discourse about the mob and all that stuff. You gotta relax. And I think that this is another way to pull on that thread to say, like, even within this culture, there are subcultures, right? And Italian Americans no longer at this point, a lot of them don't want to be associated with organized crime anymore because A, they're seen as like a caricature, right? You're seen as like the Godfather movies. That's all people associate you with. Or you are seen as like criminals or whatever. And there was a time in American history where, Italian immigrants were getting spat on and were treated less than. It wasn't like discrimination that we see probably with other cultures, but like there was a time of that. So there's a little bit of like a pride factor where some Italian Americans that really dislike organized crime don't want to be associated with that at all. So it's interesting to see that come into play here as well, because I think that people within the mob also, and mob affiliated people, start to examine themselves in that way too. And like, how am I seen within my culture? Good, bad, positive, negative? I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's something where I have to go back and rewatch this episode because, you know, you want to now research the history of the Italian immigrants who first came here and what they went through. Because I know a little bit about it. I know in New York they were considered less than. They lived in a separate part of the city, and they couldn't travel to specific part of the cities, and they had specific names for them. Like they went through a lot. And then also fast forward, you know, Tony's generation, and you have Tony saying, not forget it, but it's like, how do we move on?
Yeah.
How do we, you know, do we recognize it or do we throw it off to the side?
Yeah.
Those are the questions that he was asking at the end of this episode.
Right.
So I'm just, what did you think of that specific monologue that Tony had at the end?
I think like Tony has always been against seeing himself as a victim. And like, even with his therapy stuff, his panic attacks and all that stuff, he's never wanted people to see himself like a victim, which is part of the reason why he didn't want people knowing he was going to therapy, and like taking antidepressants and things like that. So I think this way is like him really showing like his anger about that and his like masculine energy of like needing to show, like, we cannot be victimized. We are not the victims. I thought that was really, really well done.
And then there's the other, we'd say, I think I'd say parallel is that, you know, you have the Native Americans who have also been oppressed as well.
Yeah.
And they're also talking
different, completely context and
totally different context.
Yeah.
And we all know the history that was taught. And you have them now arguing. And you're just like, I'm there, just like, whoa, like this is fascinating. Right?
Yeah, it's there's always there has always been discourse, especially among groups that have been oppressed, of like, which one is the more oppressed, right? And then there was the talk about, you know, you have that one scene where they're at the farm or wherever with the horse in the stables, and Hesh is talking to this guy about how Columbus and Hitler and
he's agreeing, and he's like, yeah. But then when he compares him to Hitler,
he's like, no way, absolutely not. And it's a little bit of this like, we were more oppressed than you. It's the same conversation the Italians are having with the Native Americans. Like, they're like, no, we were oppressed too. Like, we have a right to showcase our culture and all that stuff. And I just think it's interesting. It's really interesting discourse. But like, it's so funny to me how people, like, I'm not trying to get like political or anything on here, but when people examine like Columbus, especially in this show, like, the history is so backwards and people don't actually know like a lot of the background of him. Like, they're celebrating Columbus like he's this Italian hero, but in reality, in history, because I knew this from my my history class in college, Columbus was not funded by Italy to come explore the Americas. He was funded by Spain. So like Spain claimed him, not Italy, like at the time.
Yeah.
So like the whole voyage and everything was funded by Spain to come to America or even India to try to find spice, and that didn't happen. Spices, not Dune. Spices. And then they landed in Hispaniola, which is not even actually like what we know as like mainland America. And they did exactly what people accuse, like rape, pillage, steal, murder, all that stuff. I mean, again, I think there was a little bit of, I think Carmela or somebody had said like he was a victim of his time, which is a little bit the case. Like, they were all trying to, they were seeking riches. They were seeking ways to expand and to grow their empires and gain power and all of that stuff. And what they did to the Native Americans, I think, was a means to an end. And that's why I think the way that they talk about like the Hitler comparison makes no sense, because like that was pure hatred. That was pure hatred towards a group of people. You can't compare the two things. But like, for people to say they were just as bad as Hitler, it's like people are so misinformed about like what's happening, but because it affects like their culture, it has to do with their culture, they instantly grapple to it and defend it with like this pride or this ignorance of like what the heck's going on. And I think we see that with the mob all the time. They defend everything that they do because it's part of their history, part of their heritage and everything. And I think that's almost like the comparison.
Of what this episode is hitting. It's like, yeah, the mob rapes, the mob kills, the mob
pillages, they steal.
They steal.
Yep.
They do, like, that's all there, and
Yep.
we have seen it, right?
Mhm.
That's.
But in some veins, they are looked at as heroes in these figures. In the mob movies, they're seen as cool, whatever. But some people view them as awful in the same way that Columbus is viewed, right? Like, that's the thing that I think is super interesting about this parallel. Like, they created this very interesting parallel. It was like Columbus and the modern day mafia, like the way that people are viewing them. I thought that was really well done.
Yeah. Wow. And bear with us, y'all. This was probably the most, I think, dense episode we've seen so far in terms of a commentary on culture and the culture wars. So
yeah,
this is.
I would love to people.
Yeah.
And here, like, this is fresh off us watching this. We could be completely off on what the intention was. We haven't watched any of the breakdowns or anything from other creators or seen David Chase's explanation on this episode. So please feel free to like chime in and tell us like if you have more insight on the purpose of all of this. But I think it was a really, really cool examination of the culture, and I'm interested to see if this episode plays into any additional themes that we see, especially throughout this season.
And then there was another parallel that occurred where we saw Janice's relationship with Ralph and Bobby losing his wife in his marriage, and how it was brought up that Bobby was the only capo who did not have a Gumar. And that like really hit all the mob wives. They were like, whoa, like he was truly the most loyal one. They even laughed at him for that.
Yep.
But I'm wondering what is that parallel that what is that thread that you want to talk about?
So with this, I think it's interesting because even when you have like a culture that people view maybe negatively, there's always two sides to that coin. So like you might have Italians who were horrible people, aka organized crime members who rape, pillage, kill, whatever, steal, all of that. And then you might have regular Italian Americans, working families, good people, even within the mob, right? Like you have good people in there who this is the life that they were brought into.
And they're just
they're a
trying to
product of their
survive.
environment. Now they're making ends meet and putting food on the table.
Yeah.
And I think that like that is the parallel between Ralphie and Bobby. They're like they are two ends of the same spectrum. One is the worst of the worst. Like Ralphie is truly scum. And we have seen that throughout like his inception as a character and throughout his development. We see he is a scummy person.
Yeah.
He killed a 20-year-old stripper. He, cheats on his, I don't even know if Ro and him ended up being a fiance or married. Someone correct me, but he cheats on his partner who literally just lost her son, who he put a hit on and is now like, trying to, solicit just like a sexual relationship with Janice. And like he doesn't care about anything other than that. Awful, awful, awful. Bobby, on the other hand, is this person that people make fun of. They don't fear, but you have to respect the loyalty. Like he had been through Uncle Junior's side for the entire cancer treatment, his chemo, all of that stuff. He like anytime they need Bobby to do anything, he is the soldier that goes. Like he's the person that maybe he'll like be like, because he's like a little bit, maybe he doesn't want to do everything, but he will do it. Like he will do it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have a Gumar. He doesn't, he takes care of his family and he puts his family first. Like there was a time where his dad died and he was like, Junior, like my family, I have to go to my funeral. Like he's a guy who really is about respect and his family and all that. And I thought that was an examination on like, even within something you might see as negative or within one culture, you will have two different extremes. And I think even for Janice, realizing that was like a light bulb to see that within her own family, within the circumstances that she was put into, not everybody is all bad. And I thought that was a way to tie in some of the cultural examination.
It's looking at the positive elements of it, you know, and the negative elements. Yeah. Ooh. And it's something that you look at, in our Brazilian culture, that's something that's very familiar within the Italian culture, very family
oriented.
Very, very, very. Like I think that's something that's always been showcased throughout the entire series so far. And this episode specifically, I think really honed in on that and showcasing you that. But I'm trying to remember what else we have to add.
Just a couple little things like We see Adriana in this
Adriana.
episode.
And she's very quiet.
Very quiet. You can tell that every time the camera is very like zooming in on her and pans to her, cuts to her, she's just like in thought, and she's thinking about very clearly like whatever happened in the last episode, right? We know the feds are trying to play her. At least I think so, in the sense where they're telling her she's going to get 25 years if she doesn't cooperate. We all know that police can use tactics like that, which is messed up, to coerce people into confessing or admitting to a crime, whether they're guilty or not. And she's mulling all this stuff over, and also she's seeing like death again in this family, whether or not it was mob related, right? But like seeing that death in the family, hearing about how Bobby is the only one without a good mom, because she was right there when that was happening.
Oh yeah, and that, oh my God, that's so true. She was just quiet.
She was so quiet. And like it almost felt like an examination of like, is this life worth the risk? And I think that her silence in this was very loud and very telling. And I think that was a very brilliant way to showcase like there's still an untold piece that's going on here. There's still more to discover and still more to talk about here. But we're going to let you know that she's stewing on something. She's thinking about it, and there's a lot going on in her mind.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that was really you can tell. You would look at her, and you can just tell she's just looking out. She's not really in it. Like you can just tell she's not present.
Yeah.
In a lot of the things. So yeah, it was seeing her in that moment. You were just wondering how is this going to develop? What is she thinking? Yeah. What is going on?
And also, like, we have to assume at this point that nobody knows, because it was not mentioned once by anybody.
No, it wasn't.
So to me, that doesn't seem good, because if she wasn't going to cooperate with the police, I would have assumed that she would have told Christopher at this point, and Christopher probably would have told the others. So it leads me to believe that she might be cooperating, but who knows? Maybe she's just completely mulling it over and she hasn't said anything to anybody, either the feds or anybody in the family. So it's an interesting one. It's almost like it's a very like, oh, you have this cliffhanger? Well, we're going to let you stew on it.
We're going to linger with it.
Yeah, 100%.
And we'll let it develop as it goes.
And actually, now that I think about it, we just saw the beginning of Junior's trial.
Yes, that's true.
And it's very like coincidental that is also happening at the same time, because obviously all of this is connected. So I don't know if they're trying to use this, if this is something they can use in Junior's trial or his case or anything like that. But yeah, it's interesting to me that the timing of these things are happening at the same time.
Yeah, I don't think they would connect it, because I think it's separate charges.
Probably. But like, you never know what other things that you can discover in a trial. So I don't know, but yeah, it'll be I don't know. This is I think it's maybe just signaling a downfall, because again, Tony was saying haven't had a trial in 16 years. They've been, a little bit of notoriety. Junior was arrested. He's been having like these legal battles and all that stuff, but now it's finally at a trial, and as soon as that happens, Adriana's being called in by the feds. So it's a lot of like, it feels like dominoes are starting to fall. Yeah,
exactly. Wow. With that being said, y'all, Charlie's still not back, but thank you so much for watching and listening to this episode. We love you guys, and see you soon for more Tony Tuesday. Stay beautiful, y'all.